Before we get into this video, I have a short preface and some background information. The preface, for any of you who are new to this channel, is I am a new coaster enthusiast and therefore have not been to any amusement parks outside of Pennsylvania. I've only been on Pennsylvanian roller coasters. And now for some background information. About a month ago, I made a video discussing my top 10 coasters in Pennsylvania, and I had Candemonium at number 1. And I talked about in that same video Skyrush, which was number 3 on my list and was ranked pretty low compared to some coaster enthusiasts who think it's top tier. In that video, I said I don't hate Skyrush like other coaster enthusiasts, but I couldn't love it because of the restraints. But what if I told you the restraints no longer bother me? That's right, in my last 2 trips to Hershey Park, through trial and error and the help of my friends, I have figured out how to ride Skyrush with no pain. And because I now know how to get painless rides on Skyrush, Skyrush is now my number 1 coaster again. I say again because back in like 2018, 2019, I didn't really get as much pain as others did on Skyrush. I thought it was a great coaster. It was my number 1. However, towards the end of 2019, early 2020, I started getting a lot of pain on Skyrush. My thighs were feeling it, and not in a good way. So because of the pain and the addition of Candemonium to Hershey Park, Skyrush ended up falling 2 spots on my list this year, and I thought I had Skyrush pretty locked at number 3 on my rankings list. Again, like the preface said, a rankings list that's based entirely in Pennsylvania. I've only been on coasters in Pennsylvania. We'll get to Ohio one day. I believe in us. However, little did I know Skyrush would not spend much time outside of my number 1 spot, because I've been to Hershey 5 times in 2020. The first 3, super painful rides on Skyrush. The last 2, I haven't felt a thing. And I think I figured it out. And with the help of my super high-tech program known as MS Paint, I'm going to show you guys how you too can get no pain on Skyrush. Also, I'm not an artist, so please God forgive me. Anyways, we're going to paint our legs here. Okay, let's pretend these are legs. We're going to draw stubs for our knees. Beautiful. We got nice stubby knees. Now here's what you want to do. This is the key to it all. You're going to take your legs and you're going to hold them underneath the seat. You're going to bend your knees such that your calves are gripping onto the ledge here as well as the bottom side of the seat. During the intense ejector airtime hills on Skyrush, rather than your thighs flying up into the restraint, instead your calves and the bottom half of your legs are holding you in place on the bottom side of the seat. And I know what you're thinking and what your next question might be. Doesn't that eliminate airtime? It surprisingly only eliminates a little bit of airtime compared to not holding on to anything at all, just riding the entire coaster, basically ragdoll, and letting your thighs get used and abused. I know some coaster enthusiasts like to ride coasters with their hands up, but if you hold on to the grab bars, you can kind of control the ejector airtime a little bit as well and direct it away from your thighs so that your thighs are not flying up and smashing into the restraint. There's no real way I advise you to sit. However, when I get on Skyrush, I usually sit somewhat forward. The reason I sit so forward is so the restraint comes down earlier, and when the ride operator checks, it seems as though the restraint is as far down as it can go, and then after the ride operator checks, I can slump back down and have a little bit of space between me and the restraint so I'm not stapled. Also, that brings up a good point. If you get stapled, this trick doesn't really work. You need a little bit of space. Basically what I'm saying is if you get stapled on Skyrush, say goodbye to your thighs. Also, one final note, a lot of people know this, but I want to restate it because it is important. The wing seats on Skyrush are kind of rough. I suggest sitting in a middle seat because it's a lot smoother and you get less pain. If you sit in a wing seat, even if you follow all these instructions, you still might get a little bit of pain. I did when I tried this in a wing seat. It's just hard to avoid pain in a wing seat on Skyrush because the wing seats have a rattle to them. I've tried the bending your knees method in the front row, middle, and back. I've tried it on wing seats, middle seats. That's how I know wing seats are still kind of rough and it doesn't work perfectly. But I will tell you right now, you take my word for it, all right? If you go to Hershey Park and you want to ride Skyrush with little to no pain on your thighs, bend your knees. Make sure to position your calves underneath the seat, almost holding onto the seat with your calves. It's going to feel weird, it's going to look weird, but I've now been on Skyrush several times in a row with no pain. I've had my family members and friends try this trick and it's worked for them as well. So across several rides of Skyrush and several different people trying this method, I can confidently tell you that it works. Anyways, that's the video. This was kind of an off-the-cuff, unplanned video, but once I discovered the secret to Skyrush, I had to share it. It just felt too important not to make a video about. Like I said earlier, Skyrush is back to my number 1 spot as far as Pennsylvanian coasters are concerned. Before, I was kind of in the middle. As I said at the beginning of this video, there are some coaster enthusiasts that love it, think it's a top 10 coaster in the world, and some coaster enthusiasts that hate it and don't even have it in their top 100. I was kind of in between those two crowds, but I've officially joined the camp of Skyrush is a top tier coaster, a world's best coaster, and there's a very good chance, even if I got to ride every coaster in America, Skyrush would probably still be in my top 10, at least my top 20. So yeah, that's the video. To celebrate this video and to celebrate my discovery of how to ride Skyrush painlessly, I bought a hat last time I was at the park. And just remember, kids, if you don't want your thighs to be crushed, bend your knees.